Institute arranged a tandem partner where you could meet up with someone, to always speak, so it helps. It helps to not just improve the new language you are learning, but also help you improve the language you know how to learn, you know already. So that's another tip. The last but not least tip is what I call the 3 Bs tip. So that one is a bit for people who are already learning the language. You're already into the language, maybe at A1, B1 level, not for people who just want to start or have plans to start. So the 3 Bs tip is basically Batman, Beyonce, and Baby, and this has to do with learning the gender, because over the years I discovered that a lot of people have always complained about the German gender, the German articles. So gathering resources and experiences from other people who have been teaching the language, I discovered that there's a way you can try to help yourself learn the language. So the Batman, the Batman Beyonce Baby technique is just simply Batman is a male, superhero. Beyonce is a superstar, female superstar that everybody adores a lot. Then baby is, every wish of a mother to have a baby. So the Batman is just simply standing, representing the masculine noun. Then Beyonce, feminine. Then baby, neutral. So, for instance, if you want to make a sentence, let's say, for instance, you want to make a sentence with Batman. So it would be dear Batman, and then maybe Tish, which is also dear. So you could say if the relation between the two is Batman is masculine, then Tish is masculine. So you look for a way to connect it in a sentence. So maybe you could say Batman sits on the table. So you look for a way to connect it. Then beyond, for instance, Beyonce. I'm trying to just be fast because I know we don't have so much time.
Don't have much time anymore.
Yeah,
Actually,
so that's the last point. That's the last point. So the Beyonce is you are a female character, and then you connect with a female, object or so. So, for instance, Beyonce and milk. So it would be, Beyonce drinks the milk. So something like that. Then baby, you look for the same connecting character, and then you try to make sense out of it. So it's a technique that also could help. So that's basically the tips from my end. And definitely I'll love to welcome questions and other people's experiences too. Thank you.
We have only one question I can ask you now. So which is do I or do we all need to speak perfect German when we need to live in Germany?
Not at all. Not at all. For instance, Germans appreciate you when you speak, even when most of them, even if you do make mistakes, even the Germans themselves, they tell you, they know the language is difficult. They tell you. So when you make an attempt to speak, they appreciate it. So you don't need to speak perfect German. Even I don't speak perfect German. It's not my mother tongue, so I don't speak perfect German. So you don't need to, you don't have to.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your tips and advice. We really appreciate. And I will handle it over to Teresa for her to give it to the next section. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for that. It was really helpful. And yeah, we got a lot of things. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I hope you guys are taking note of your field, your jot pad with lots of tips that would really help you when you get here. So thank you so much, Mr. Solomon. And Yeah, so moving on, like I said, we have a lot of things that we'll be discussing today. And yeah, the next session is a very deep one. He would learn from. And this has to do with how you eat, how you parent, how you do find boy, find girl, how you have money to do like the one that is Valentine. This topic I want to discuss, if it's not ticked on your box, there's no how you do Valentine, and then you just be in your house looking. So this next section is gonna deal on job opportunities in Germany. You do not want to come here and be jobless. Yes, trust me, you do not want to be jobless. And I'm sure that all of these tips that Dayo is gonna be our moderator for this. Dayo, you're looking all packed up. Do you have job for us, sir? Please, give us
Yeah,
job.
I have job for everybody.
All right, I'll be handing it over to Dayo. So Dayo, take over.
So thank you very much. My name is Abidayo. So I'm based in Berlin, but right now I got a job in Bremen, so I'm in Bremen currently. So that's why I'm going to take this session. Yeah, it came as like an impromptu, but I'm just going to talk about my experience. And yeah, you can always write your question in the chat box. And yeah, and it's a very good segue from Mr. Solomon talking about German, because I'll tell you, coming to this country, no, I didn't know any word of German, Dankeschön and all that. But then I would say we're not. I don't want to place the. I would say you need to have German friends. Yeah, it's good. We are doing NSIG and all this is very good to stay together, but you cannot I cannot overemphasize this. You have to have German friends or locals. They might not be Germans, but maybe they are other Africans that are born here or they've lived there for a long time. All I'm saying, you need to have role models that you ask questions. So what my first job here in Germany was, I was working in the paper factory, and I was living in a VG, like a VG, like the shared apartment, and a German told me, "Oh, this job and everything, you don't really need German." So starting off, if you are just coming in, so I'm speaking to people that are just coming in, because we have experts and German experts and even citizens amongst us. So this information I'm going to start giving out is like for newcomers or people that are still in Nigeria. When you come in, you need to get jobs that you don't really need German at first. And unfortunately, those jobs are mostly like in the lager house, like in the probably in the event center where there's COVID right now. There are no events going on, or so those are the number one thing. So you need to go online, then search for such jobs. Non jobs is a job search, non-German or just English-speaking jobs. First of all, when you come into the country. So, but then put it at the back of your mind that you would eventually have to learn German. Like Mr. Solomon said, you have to learn this German because if you need to rise and earn real money, you need to speak German in this country. There's no way you can do it, because my experience has been like a rise, and hopefully by God's grace keep rising. So when you get this job, while on the job, you will see Germans or you speak German, you see German speakers amongst the workers there, wherever you're working. Even if it's non-German, you don't need German in the job. You still see Germans, your supervisors, like you call your meister, your docents, all those people, they'll be speaking German amongst themselves, but they will just communicate with you with the little English they know. But the thing is, try to tell them that you want to speak German. So in terms of this job, when you speak German, it will give you a good leverage to go and do better search online, and also ask those people, because while you're working and you're not speaking German, I'm telling you, probably you have a contract for 3 months. At the end of that contract, maybe you came in through the agency. That company might want to maybe take in 2 or 3 people that they like. And honestly, it has happened to me. They'll just ask 1 or 2 people that can speak German that would you like to stay? And how it happened for me was there's this supermarket, Al Natura. I came in, I was working there like just stacking shelves, and my JAMA was increasing little by little. I came in through the agency. So after the contract, and you know, agency, well, our Nigerians, you know how these agencies do jobs. You know, you can wake up on a Monday morning, they will just send you WhatsApp message or email that you don't need to go to work, that kind of thing. So that the company, the supermarket told me, oh, would you like to stay back? And I said, okay, why not? But the thing is, they asked me this because they saw that, oh, I could speak a little German, and I was picking up German little by little. And that was how I stayed back, and I didn't need the agency again. So that's another tip. While you're in non-German speaking job, talk to your managers in German, start to learn the German. So you get the projection now. Even though you go in with English, start to make German friends on the job, and they'll be telling you, oh, this is the next big thing, this is the next big thing. And because to juggle work and how will I say, to juggle work, job, family, and all that, because people came with their wives and their children, it's not easy. There's something they call Kurzarbeit, like the short-time jobs, and which is what students normally do. For some people, they prioritize work than school. So either way you want to do, there's this mini job. So where you go in 2 or 3 times a week, and you can earn 450 euros. That's in Berlin. I don't know how it is in other states of Germany. So when you do that, you just go online, mini jobs in Germany. You can also search. So these are search words: mini jobs in Germany, mini jobs in Bremen, Germany, mini jobs in Bayern, mini jobs in all these things. You speak these things together. I think somebody wants to talk to me. Hello?
Yeah, sure. Continue. I'm just here to kind of add more grease to your elbow. So
okay, thanks very much.
Fair enough, brother. So I'll throw the questions to you then as you go on.
Okay.
Then I'll chip in some few things too. Yeah.
So you can mini jobs. Those are search words. Remember those search words, mini jobs. Those are also good part-time jobs where you just go in 2 or 3 times a week and you do it. And I wouldn't lie to you. There's what we call lager jobs. I've done it before. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a bit hectic. It's a bit stressful. You start 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or you start 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. These are typical lager jobs. If you know you can do it and combine school, that's also good. So what are lager jobs? Amazon, there are lager jobs. DHL, there are lager jobs at the airports, and the airports are closed now, where they're running in low capacity. Those days too, they do lager jobs, and they pay like 12, 13 euros. It's really nice. You can do that, but it's really hectic and stressful to combine with studies. So you know how you want to do all these lager jobs. But then office jobs. So what are office jobs? Customer care. We have Flixbus, Booking.com, hotels, and all these cheap hotels and everything. They need customer care too. And customer care is really hot cake right now. Hot cake. But for customer care, I would say if you can speak English, German, and maybe one other international language, French, Spanish, I think is really, really good also. Go for search customer care jobs where you sit at home, you don't have to go anywhere and you do it. But there are a lot right now, so just go search for it. Customer care jobs in my area, or just customer care jobs. Just type that customer care jobs. You'll see many lists, and you just do that. Another thing you should note is putting your CVs together, resume. Germans are stickler for rules, so trust me. I don't know where you're living right now. Look for the nicest German you can find to read your resume. It is very, very important. Let them just read it. I have a very good friend now. I don't know if he sees this in the future, Zinan. It really helped me in my CV. So when you do mini jobs, there's a kind of CV you write. When you want to get customer care jobs, there's a kind of resume you write. And when you want to get the professional full-time job, also, is a projection I'm going to get there. there's a kind of CV you write. So the list, the larger jobs, customer care jobs, write your CV. Simple, short, one-page CV. Some accept English, some accept German. If you do it in German, you can put like a note that you've done this CV in German, but you're learning German, and you explain the level of German you're on your CV. There is no shame. You can tell them you're on A1, A2, B2 level German when you write your CV. Depending on the level, depending on the jobs, you just do it. It's totally fine. So those are CVs, short-term jobs, Kurzarbeit, just all these are keywords also. Now projecting to the more professional, semi-professional to professional jobs. Those are jobs where your career. So all these words I've mentioned, what you study doesn't matter. They just want to know that they say Kopalish, like you're punctual, you're reasonable. Those are just simple jobs. But then semi-professional jobs, maybe something you learned in school, maybe a certification, maybe like a programming job or something. This is the next level of, these are semi-professional jobs. Not necessarily what you learned will be used. So where you learned it, they don't care. You learned it online or YouTube, but you can just practice. You can prove that you know what you know. So these are software programming jobs, backend, front end, computer science gigs. You can program Java, all these things you can work with. They're very good with Excel, PowerPoint, all these things. Those are software. Or probably you can build a website, and all these things is very, 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 very good. Also, this is a semi-professional job. So it's just a projection. When you come in, you start looking at, okay, this is where I want to go to, and start working towards it. So these semi-professional jobs now, there's a bit of freedom. They don't really require German like that, but nonetheless, to stay here and rise to the top in this country, you need to learn German. So this semi-professional job now, it varies, but it deals mostly like you are like in a professional official setting, you're dressed up, you're going to work, or you're at home, you're doing home office, as the case may be in this Corona time. That's also possible. So you can go search for all these semi-professional jobs also. And how to write your CV for that is also a bit different from a larger job, or you want to just be like a waitress in an event, or just want to be welcoming hosts in an event, or you want to be, so it's different, writing a CV. Now, job opportunities in semi-professional are very, very plenty. There are various areas you can go into, but you need to bring in a certification, something you've learned, something, it might either be from bachelor or master or a second bachelor. Either way, you've learned this thing for like 3, 6 to a year in time frame, I don't know, but it's mostly in programming. It's mostly in programming, either way, or computer related soft skills. So now the professional jobs, these are job opportunities. Now the professional job is where what you studied, what you've come here to Germany to study, what you've come here to study. I don't know, I did energy engineering. So this is where it gets tough to crack the code. It's not easy. Yeah, so it deals with applications. You need to send hundreds and hundreds of applications and be ready to accept rejection. Leider wir müssen das teilen. It's very, very humbling German words you will be ready to read. So that the code for that is, I would just say, now your LinkedIn is up to date. In Germany, they use LinkedIn and Xing or Xing. I don't know you pronounce it, Xing. Get your profile up to date, your LinkedIn, your Xing profile up to date. You need to get them up to date, either in English or German. You need to really go into deep search, track recruiters on LinkedIn, online, and track them. So if you see any job role anywhere, either Indeed, okay, so okay, I'll mention those websites later on, but it's something we all know: Indeed, Stepstone, Glassdoor, Job Browser, that's the German version, many ones. So you need to go. Hello.
Continue.
So you need to get your profile up to date. On your CV, Germany, there's German companies like to see pictures, even though I've heard recently that in the German constitution, the German job labor laws, if you don't want to mention your gender, you don't want to see your picture, it's totally fine. But I will tell you, we have strange sounding names as Africans. I don't know who is watching this or where this will get to, but that's the truth. So we have strange sounding names. I will tell them your gender, tell them your name, put your picture there. So when you put your picture, there's the standard way of putting pictures. When I log out, you will see the picture on my Zoom profile. You see that's like the standard picture, how you stand and everything. When you just go to a professional photographer and tell them that you want to make like Lebenslauf build, just tell them the resume picture. They will tell you how to do it. So, because if you're sending these things out, the people that claim, don't send your picture, don't send this, those are mostly Germans or people that really are not looking for these professional jobs. If you're looking for professional, just send in those things. I know it can be difficult, but just send in what the rules says. Okay, not what the rules say, but what the German employers really want. They want to see your face. They want to see, it's African. Let's see how it's dressed. Let's see how it's from your gender. Do all these things. Now moving on to.
I agree. Sorry, can I just chip in a few things then?
I need to chip in and.
Can I? Yeah. So the thing is not just I think just going back to what you said earlier about CVs, I could remember that last summit we had this like almost 2 hours section, I think close to 1 hour to 2 hours section on how to properly develop your CV. So I would also like to redirect everyone that is here to our NiSIG YouTube channel. So you just go there, just take out time, just watch the job opportunity series we have there, so you can be able to see how to properly develop your CV and build a very perfect cover letter. So I think it's very important. So I also want to, in addition to what Daya have also mentioned, before I ask you the question, I also want to add 2 things. So number 1 thing is we have a lot of professionals coming into Germany as a student. So you might be a developer back home, you might be an engineer back home already, you might be an accountant back home already. So you're already a professional with some years of experience coming into Germany. So don't let anybody tell you that you are not good enough to do a professional job. That is the highest lie anybody can tell you. But at the same time, don't let anybody convince you too that it's easy, because that is also the highest lie anybody can tell you. So my point is, you should, because you are coming in. So some of us also like usually coming with blocked accounts, and you have that, like you have like a, let me say like a 6 months buffer of less pressure to make some money. Like you are not under so much intense pressure to start making money. So you can use that buffer to be able to package yourself and package your CVs, your cover letter, and start, training applications, because we need to get a whole lot of scholars into professional jobs, because these professional jobs, you can't really undermine the values that is going to add to you and your CV and your career, because automatically upon graduation, you're actually far ahead of your colleagues, even your German colleagues. So it's very important for you that you also look out for the professional jobs. Most times when they send those professional jobs in WhatsApp groups, don't do as right like you're doing a matching. No, most times you can easily also go for the application and then apply for the jobs. It's there for you. Nobody's keeping it there for you. Then second tip also that it actually worked for me personally. So during job application, if I'm applying for a professional job, I'm not talking about logistics now. I have this Excel sheet. So I found out that most jobs that you are looking for is not even on the job board. Most jobs we are looking for is on the company's career page. So what I now do is that I have like almost, let me say, for example, like 20 or 50 companies that I have in my Excel sheet. So every week, like every 2 weeks, most companies refresh their career page and update new jobs. Most big companies do. So every 2 weeks, I visit that each company and see the latest career that is there and apply. So if I apply on each one, I'll come and tick yes, I've applied. So it doesn't matter how many you apply, how many roles you apply for a particular company, but just keep the application going, and you see that one day you'll be able to make it. So, but very important, please, Germany has a very, very, very different CV format. So I think you when you Google europass.com or .eu, sorry, .eu, you'll be able to help you build the CV format. So it's very important you go through the required CV format, because the system algorithm won't even pass your CV over to the HR to be able to even review it if on some occasion it's not even aligning to the normal format that is meant to be. So I think it's very important. So there was this question that someone dropped. So so the question is even why German is important. So must I speak Deutsch or German before I can be able to get a job, even if it's a professional job or even if it's a logistic job? Then I can be able to ask you the next question.
Okay, so my answer to that is there's yeah, it depends on the job, and it depends. If you see the job posting, they will put it sehr gute Deutschkenntnis of C1 Niveau oder B2 Niveau. Yeah, so when you see that, oh, they really need German. And if you see the job posting and they don't write any German Cantonese, or maybe they just say Verhandlungsdeutsch, that is like conversational German. I'm sure B1 can suffice for that. Yeah. So it depends on the job.
Bro, I've actually seen scenarios whereby you might also see some job applications that really need Deutsch. Just apply. Most times they really need somebody, like they're in their need of anybody, even if you don't speak a good Deutsch, to just take up haven't you seen such thing there?
That means if you know you apply, probably there's a skill they are requiring. Maybe you are like PHP plus person, like you are very good. That means there's a skill, that,
or you have the strength, depending on the kind of job.
But German is your weakness. You can write, definitely apply for it. All what I'm saying is, yeah, German is important because we're in Germany.
Yeah, sure.
Apply for any job because it's German. You can all go in, if you read all the requirements and it's just German that you're lacking, come on, apply.
Yeah. So I think this question is also very important. So now the question is someone asks, like, okay, now, for example, you are just coming into Germany today. So some average number of us, we come in with some kind of high expectation of Germany. When you tell an average person, wow, Germany. So with high expectation of kind of packing the money kind of thing. But so what is the first step? Do you think the person should go? Is the first step, is it all about going out there to start looking for a job, or what is actually the first step for the person to
I will
go?
tell you, yeah, like Vincent mentioned, there's a buffer. Like you always block this, and there's a buffer, so there's no panic. The goal is to get a professional job after 3, 6, 1 year of your master's. Like that's the goal. So you need to work towards it. If you are coming in for the first time, if you've been applying to Nigeria or wherever you're coming from, and you come in today, let's say you come in today, and honestly, to come in today and get a professional job today is really difficult if you just start applying today. I wouldn't like to, but there are some jobs that you can apply today and get replied tomorrow. And we know those kind of jobs. So if it's a professional job, there are a lot of preparation to do. So you just be doing that on the side where you are just earning small money. That's why I said something like the mini job. There's this mini job you can do. You can just type in mini job. Is like like I told you, I've packed shelf in the supermarket before. It's just time to know that your rent, your insurance, and a few bills are being paid while you package yourself professionally. While you learn German, it can be 3 months. If it's like, okay, I want to do 3 months, I'm going to do it 3 months. Yeah. Customer care jobs. Like I can't say this enough. Customer care job is really, really like high severity.
Yeah.
It's hot cake. So just apply for customer care jobs or apply for like the logistic jobs. Those are very easy. You can apply today, get reply tomorrow.
Yeah.
Call them, they will reply in English. But for professional jobs, you need a bit of preparation if you just come in today. But that, just know there's no panic. Don't panic. You earn money, but then you need to grow your career. So just put that aside. It's like, okay,
I agree. Because even while we are talking about professional jobs too, you also need like kind of a side job that should be taking care of your bills, So yeah, I know some people that are actually doing professional jobs today, but they didn't actually start with it. They started with the normal logistic work like Amazon or the normal as the case may be, any other logistic job. So like our logistic is like any job that you do standing, or maybe you don't do with your full brain, like you are given an instruction on what to do. So that's like what we call logistic job. If you go to any workplace and you have someone telling you, okay, just pack this meat inside here, or just put this, be putting this like this, like this. So that is just basically what we call So while we are rounding up, so I want to okay, what's your point? Because there's this thing now that is actually giving me concern because we are not lawyers, so there's a limit to what we can say, but I'll still ask you the question. So what's your opinion on freelancing within Germany as students that just came into Germany? Is it allowed?
Yeah, it's you can do. You can freelance. Is allowed.
No, I don't think it's allowed.
No. Yeah.
Because maybe you misunderstood my question, because what I actually meant is that, for example, according to our article, what I mean by our article, when you look at your advice, there's a particular article you belong to. So you know that students are not allowed to pay tax on their own. Do you understand? Right? I'm right? So students are not allowed to pay tax on their own except with the permission of I'm not a lawyer, but what I'm trying to say in essence is that as a new student, before you do anything, you should actually confirm if whatever you are doing is within the confinement of the law. So you don't end up creating trouble for yourself, even whether you are new or you're old. So that's why in NiSIG, we established the NiSIG legal committee that you can always run to, in case you have any issues or you have any of such issues with regards to let me confirm whether this thing I want to do is legal or not, So, but I know for sure that part of the things that is not immediately legal unless you collect the permission for it is maybe for you to kind of, for example, I'll meet you and say, please, on official notes now, meet you and say, please, for example, you're a painter, please, can you come and paint all this my house for me? And I will pay you officially, and you issue me a rechnung, like a receipt or something for the payment. So we are not kind of authorized to do that at this level, unless maybe I believe there's
that's the kind of freelance you
mean. Such question for more clarification, we can also ask the barrister that is coming on the awareness on legal matters, because these such issues. But why I actually brought it up here is because I know some people that have actually fallen victim of this. So, but before we conclude, what is your last word? What's your last? What do you have to say to the?
Okay, so what I have to say is just don't give up, especially in the professional aspect because of the rejection. Don't give up and use your connection, use your network, talk to people. That's why NiSIG is there. Talk to somebody, look for your WhatsApp group, look in your WhatsApp group, just connect, ask people and all that. All this knowledge is not for one person. Share it. And if you know anything, if you know any job opportunities also, share and all that. So that's my
Yeah.
Oh,
So I also got one information now that like I say I see something on freelancing too, some cities actually, so you need to make the request. So when you
yeah,
make the request for the
because
freelancing and stuff, so once it's approved, so you should just know that everything needs to be requested. So once you request, some cities also issue such opportunity for students and foreigners to be able to easily do things or so. But you can
that
also
got me
ask
off
the barrister.
by speaking.
So guys, thank you very much. That you've actually done a very big justice to this.
Yeah, thank you for coming
Yeah,
to.
someone is okay. Now this question will be answered during the we have an question and answer section. Someone asked something about WhatsApp group, but we attend to that. So thank you very much. And I seems like our time is up. And guys, I believe you learned a few things. And so you can always throw your questions or if you have any suggestion, we have our email address info@nisig.de. It's very simple. So you can always ask your questions and then it will get answered. Like we'll try our possible best to answer it within at least 24 hours. So thank you very much, and I hand it over to the moderators. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. If you can see me now, it means that we're currently on a break. So 6:15 for the next 3 minutes. So we can have a short tea break. And then when we're back, we would introduce the next speaker, who is Winston, and he will be talking about investments and savings. So we have a break now for a couple of minutes. And please join back in like 3 or 4 minutes, and then we will start.
So the tea break does not actually mean we should leave the meeting. It just means we should go and grab our tea and return back to the meeting because we are we actually still on live because before the next 3 minutes we're going to still resume the next section. So feel free to ask your question. Now, I think this is actually the time for me to attend to some questions that have been asked. So someone asked question about okay. So I'll throw this. Someone asked question about someone that is still struggling with listening. Okay, listening aspect of the German language. So what are the tips? So I'll throw the question to Solomon Echo, then Echo, then I'll get back the response. Then another person asked, can we join the NiSIG WhatsApp group? Of course, of course. So as you rightly heard from the president, NiSIG is divided into several chapters. So depending on your chapter, so that will determine the WhatsApp group you're actually joining. So I think it's best. So what will happen now? Just stay tuned before the end of the program. I'm going to drop a form that we are all going to fill. Like most of us that are not yet in any chapter, so we fill the form. Then we add our details. Then we add our details. Then we add our name, details, and phone number. So I can be able to, forward it to the various chapter coordinators, and we can be able to get you fixed up. So also, okay. Oh, someone said I'm in a Akin chapter, so that's nice. So I think I'll hand it over to Simi now, so we can continue with the rest of the program.
Okay, so welcome back. I hope you guys actually got tea or something to drink because it's going to be an impactful session next. I'm going to hand over to Winston Odita right now. Just a few notes about him. So he's currently an investment consultant. And so if you have like a lot of money, make sure you talk to him because he's going to help you with your wealth management. He has like hundreds of clients, and he's had years of experience when it comes to investments and savings. So without further ado, I would hand over to Winston and let him present his topics for the day. One more point before that. So I imagine that there will be a lot of questions because even when I started investments, there were a lot of questions and on savings. So please send them to the chat box, or you can also send them to me personally. And then at the end of the segment, I will raise the questions. So over to you, Odita.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I am so proud to be here because it's so awesome seeing how NiSIG Group is continuously growing. I can remember when we started it in 2010, and yeah, it's unbelievable that it has become something big, right? And yeah, let me show my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so everyone right now has the opportunity.
Yes, I can see it.
All right. Thank you so much. Everyone has the opportunity to write in this, to write into the chat group. And I have one question for everyone. I want to challenge you right now, because I think we do that very, very less, and it's to talk about what is investment actually for you. Everyone talks about, yeah, I do investment in this, I do investment in that. Simi, can you just correlate, like take some of the, because I can actually not see everyone writing.
Yes, of course.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm looking through the chat box and I'm not getting a lot of questions. I hope I'm looking at the right chat.
Just in one word, what is investment?
Okay. Someone put early retirement, 2 words, but yeah, early retirement.
Yeah.
I would say while more options come in, for me, it's a rainy day fund. So making sure I'm set, rainy day, everything is good. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't see more responses. Wealth creation.
Wealth creation. Wow. That is a big word. That is a big word. I love that.
Yeah. Precious says other sources of income. Okay. Lily says making money while I'm sleeping. This is the most important thing. Like this is in short. Yes, Lily, me and you together. Ebolo says paying yourself in the future. Yeah. And Share Market says becoming a landlord in Nigeria. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for writing. For you, for everyone, I would like you to have that kind of time of the day where you just take 5 minutes and you just ask yourself, what is actually investment to me? But I decided, to bring a bit more practice into this. And if you look at the triangle, this return triangle, there are 3 things that guide us in the aspect of investment. And I really want us to stop thinking like in small boxes and think outside the box. What kind of return of investment is important for you? We come here to this country, and actually have no plans because obviously we want to study, but a lot of things come in line. So I think a lot of people that are in Nigeria should actually hear this, that the importance of actually knowing where you stand and knowing actually, okay, what is for me investment? I have a plan as it is. You have a plan you want to have, what your goal that is being set. And it's important to it doesn't matter where you go to in this world, the laws of attraction would always stand. So I really don't want to go into the psychology, but it's really really important that we see, because everyone wants security. Um, are you talking about security that of you putting your money into a bank and you not actually getting anything in return? Or are you talking about the people that really want to go hard, on investing in big institutions, or actually investing in yourself? Investment. I know everyone actually always thinks about investment in the monetary aspect. But no, we are actually the people who invented money. So the human capital, as it is, you know, coming to this country, I did a lot of things, in order for me to actually know what I'm worth. So I had to actually tell people what I'm worth. So German was already it was important for me actually to grow in, because I said I must integrate, because in order for me to get where I want to go to, I have to learn the language, right? There is no actually two way about it. So I love languages, but I know immediately if you want to grow here financially, you have to speak their language, right? And yeah, we're talking about human capital, liquidity. What soft skills do you have, that would render you, that open door? Because I really liked the guys that spoke before, Dio, talking about actually know where you stand, and you actually being open and also being disciplined about the language. You have to learn the language. I would also say, be your own boss in your mind, because every single person would see you as an inspiration if you know where you stand. So forget about the whole money thing. We are the human capital itself. So coming back, if it has to do with you investing, there's several ways you can think, and not actually thinking, okay, how much do I need to put on the side in order for things to grow? We are the ones that are important than the money. If we invest, probably, or think a bit out of the box, investing in our human experiences, then we will actually see our return of investment. So, investment is all about planning, right? Um, Everyone actually has probably no plans to what extent you can actually invest. So a tip from me would all be, short term, mid term, and long term. You can have short term and long term if you want, and you can have medium term and long term if you want. But at least it's always good to have a plan, because then you actually have this aim and objective. In the next 3 years, I want to get my bachelor's done. Probably on the side, I put some money on the side. You come here with a large sum of money, and actually people do not know what to do. First, you're out of Nigeria, so the difference in the amount is like, wow, wow, so much responsibility. And then you actually don't know, you don't get that feeling on what to spend. You don't know the cost of things. So I would say even the people that actually wanted to come here should actually start thinking in their mind, before I come here, what is my actual plan? What do I want to do? Because it will help you a great deal. Is it learning the language? The first 3 years, what do I invest in order for me to get that result that I need to? And then obviously thinking towards old age. We hardly do that because yeah, it's always a thing of, yeah, we YOLO. So and I feel that it says good of us and our people, because if we have a plan to build Nigeria, if we have a plan to build ourselves, then we should make sure that we think already 2 steps even before our kids come here. So that's actually, those are basic things that I would talk about, what I would say actually investment. In Germany, these are a basic concept. I'm sure my colleague after from the Barma would probably go more into details. This is a lot of things that people actually struggle with. You know, what's the basic concept of, okay, why do I need a occupational disability insurance for that matter? You know, why do I need, okay, an health insurance? You know, I don't get sick, so why do I need that? You know, or a private liability insurance, private retirement planning, and cash reserve, right? If we actually want to go more into details, because I really do not have time, you can always reach out to me, and I will definitely go deeper into the topic. It's definitely not a problem, but that is just like a basic concept that the basic thing that you actually need to have here in Germany. That my tip, right? And an ideal allocation of expenses from your net income, right? If you earn about 2,000 euros a month, what will I say? 30% should be for your rent. For example, the 600 euros, 30% should be living expenses. So it doesn't matter how much you earn, right? So if you can actually go through the percentage, right? So 30% of savings, 10% retirement savings, that's 180. And you have a deposit, 180. And then 10% free savings or reserves, and you have the 180 euros. And 10% on insurances, because there are a lot of things that can actually happen. But at least it's not you put in 50% for insurances, but knowing that 10% is definitely a good one. Yes. So I'm actually done, and I really
Perfect timing.
I really want to. I'm really happy to be here, and I think it's really important that we think out of the box, right? I have survived here because I've thought out of the box. I've not seen my card as a limited. So whatever the government has said, okay, you are restricted to do, I have done so more that people actually thought, is it actually allowed? But you can actually do it, because if we Nigerians can leave our country to learn a different language, then there is nothing that we can actually not do.
Nice.
Thank you.
So we're 1 minute into the insurance time slot. Please forgive us. We would want to take one more extra minute. So first question that I would want to ask Winston is the slides. So apparently a lot of people didn't have like all the time to look at those percentages, but is it possible for you to share the slides with the team after? So this is the first question. And the second question is, can you give us like, different platforms that we can go through or options for investment solutions?
Yes, I think I think on that, if anyone actually needs a personal contact with the topic, I would definitely be willing to help. My number is here. You can always write me on WhatsApp or Instagram. You can always write me there and say, hey, Winston, and then we'll actually talk about investment, because it's actually a personal thing, right? So there are platforms. I mean, you're talking about so many companies that actually want to do something, and I actually want to probably help or not, right? So help is a subjective thing, depending on who is actually looking at which perspective, So I'm open to help, because my heart is so much for the NiSIG or for the Nigerians here to succeed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Winston. So we're going to hand over to the next segment, which I believe is insurances. For information about his LinkedIn and his email addresses and WhatsApp and whatnot, he's going to put that in the chat box right now. So in case you have any questions, you can reach out to him personally. So over to the next segment. I think that should be Teresa.
Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful session, Simi. Yeah, and Winston, of course. This is the second time I would be, learning lots of things from you. And yeah, thank you. Always glad to have you amongst us. Yeah, and moving on, I hope you guys have been learning. Yeah, I hope this session has been awesome, and worthwhile. I mean, we're not wasting your time. And so we're moving on to this section is very important because it has to do with, well, before I just break the ice, let me just keep it in. Okay, I'll be bringing with me or having this discussion with me is Alex. Alex works with Bama, which is an health insurance company in Germany. And Bama has been partnering with NiSIG to make life in Germany very, very easy for students. And so in this session, he would be talking about the general basics of having health insurance, how it works basically as regards visa process, enrollment, and, stuff like that. We are going to be discussing that. And yeah, trust me, this is something that you all want to listen to, especially for students that are just coming into Germany. This is what you want to learn from. So yeah, I'll be calling on. I'm sure you can see him already, smiling and ready to blow us away. All right, Alex, good evening.
Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. I'm flattered, Teresa. Thanks.
It's so good to have you in our midst this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so I'm just going to allow you to do your presentation, and then we'll have some questions for you that you would answer. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you guys can see this right here. If it is too small, just let me know.
Okay, we can see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect.
I can see it, so I'm sure others can.
If you can see it, most of the other guys can probably also see it. Great, thank you guys for having me. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're all okay. I hope you're coping up with everything that's going on right now. Yeah, health insurance is also an investment. So just adding this to the last session right here, which was beautiful, by the way. Investing in your health is a big thing, and investing in health insurance or dealing with health insurance also is a very big thing. The reason why is because it is a super important thing. I'll get into that in just a bit, just quickly popping up the topics that I would like to discuss with you guys today. So we will go through COVID real quick. We will go through emergencies, what to do when, what's covered in health insurance. I'm also going to give you guys a quick to-do list in order for everything for you to be safe and without major issues. But in the middle of everything, there are some questions. So when I talked to Teresa beforehand, I already told her that I'm not a huge fan of just giving you guys a presentation because I do not want to bore you with a topic like this right here. So please use the time, use the chat function if you do not want to publicly address any type of questions, because there are no stupid questions, so you can ask everything. You can also just privately chat me or Teresa, and I'm sure we'll get back to you as soon as we get to the question session. So, why? That is going to be the biggest question for today. Why do you need to take care of health insurance? Why is there a guy sitting in his home office and talking about health insurance? Why did NiSIG partner with Barma? Why is that actually a topic in general? First things first, health insurance is mandatory for students especially, and also for experts that are coming here to work. If you do not take care of your health insurance, there will be major issues going on. So each and every one of us has to be insured in health insurance as soon as they enter Germany. And just giving an example of a student, if you do not take care of your health insurance while studying or before studying, before studying you won't even be able to enroll at the university, but if you do not take care of it while you're already enrolled and studying, you are going to be exmatriculated from university. And if that happens to you, you will lose your Aufenthaltstitel, which you can beautifully see right here. You will also use your visa, and losing your visa would mean that you would have to go back to Nigeria. And I've had these cases happen before. It is a shame, so keep it in mind. It is an incredibly important topic right here. Without health insurance, you can't enroll, you can't work, you can't stay in Germany. It is important. And that's pretty much the reason why we've partnered up with NiSIG, because Teresa already said it, I'm here to make your life easier. And yeah, once again, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat and we'll go through them later. All right, why should I take care of health insurance when there's a pandemic going on? Why should I take care of my health insurance if I'm not even sure if I can actually join my university in presence, if I can actually travel to Germany? don't worry. In order to enroll, even if it's online classes, you will need to provide them health insurance certificates. And it's most likely going to be digital, but either way, you have to enroll in health insurance and you have to have your certificates ready. But don't worry, you also need them for your visa application, so it is important to take care of it. Either way, you do not have to pay anything in advance with Barma. So if you are still abroad, if you're unsure on actually being able to travel to Germany or not, or maybe doing online classes first of all, no big deal. Just deal with the paperwork, which is not that much. You will receive your certificates via email, and you can go ahead and enroll for university. The insurance status itself will stay on hold until you manage to get here. So even if it takes 1 semester, 2 semesters, 3 semesters, no matter how long it is, if you postpone stuff, if you cancel it all around, if you decide not to come to Germany or study in Germany, that's fine. No big deal. It's better to be safe than sorry. Just take care of your stuff, and I cannot stress that enough. If you don't take care of it, you won't be able to have an easy life around here. Next up, I always love to show off my cat, which is Peanut. And the reason why we've also partnered up with NiSIG is I just said to make your life easier. And if Peanut is sick, I just take her to the vet, and the vet takes care of things. But with health insurance in Germany, it is not so easy to explain these things. So you just don't go to any type of doctor, and the doctor is helping you no matter what. It's a bit more difficult. You need to know when you should go where, etc., etc. We've already had some talks in regards to this. I'm also happy to give you a special session in this, but for now, I'm just going to give you a quick overview on when you should go where. Generally speaking, there are general practitioners, which are called GPs, and they are your first person to get in touch with during the opening hours. If it's after the opening hours, if they're closed already, if it's nights, if it's the weekend, there's an emergency number that you can call, which is 116117. So if you guys want to be prepared already, feel free to write that down on your little notebook. 116117 is a group of emergency doctors which are going to take care of urgent things that are not life-threatening. But if there is anything life-threatening going on, as the examples that you can already see there, acute chest pain, sudden fainting, paralysis, etc., you can go ahead and call an ambulance right away and get into the hospital. And the hospitals are open 24/7, so you don't need to worry about not being able to get treated in case you really have a bad day and you really get sick. Next up, what's actually covered? Super easy. That's why it's. I've just put it on screen like this. As long as your treatment is medically necessary and is an accepted treatment method, you are good to go. It's fully covered. This is speaking of public insurance. Just on a side note, there are differences between public and private insurance, which I don't think we can cover today because we don't have that much time. But I'm also there for your individual questions in that. So whether it's X-rays, surgery, dental treatment, no matter what it may be, even checkups. So one thing is taking care of you when you're sick. The other thing is also making sure you get checked up. So things like cancer, etc., other very, very bad diseases will at least get noticed as soon as possible so you can get treated the fastest. Everything that's medically necessary and accepted is fully covered. No need to pay anything extra for that. What are your next steps? Super easy. Sign up. That's the first thing you should do. And within most likely 24 hours on workdays, you are going to receive your certificates for university or your employer, as well as for your visa via email. These certificates just have to be getting to university somehow. So that is going to be up to you in that case. Most likely either way, send it via post or send it via email. They are going to let you know how to deal with that. And part 4, I already said that even if you're not sure on whether you will be able to come to Germany or not, still sign up, still deal with the paperwork, and just keep us updated in regards to your visa process, if it's getting declined, if it's just getting postponed. I'm not that sure how the visa situation is right now, but I'll stay in the meeting a little bit more to maybe get to know a little bit more about this. Keep me updated in your travel plans. We are happy to help you with any questions in the meantime. All right, how do you do that? Super easy. just go to www.nisig.de/barma, and you can fill out an application form right there and just send it to me via email. I am working today. I am not going to work tomorrow, but I'll get back to you on Monday morning at the earliest, as soon as I receive your email. And that's for the ones of you who want to do it themselves. Option number 2, get in touch with me, ask for an online consultation, especially if you have some further questions. I'm happy to talk to you in regards to these upcoming questions. Once again, we are today just going to cover the basics of the basics right here, because I could talk for 2 hours now, but that would just be too much. Option number 3, if you have any other questions in regards to Barma and you don't want to get in touch with me personally, for example, you can also get in touch with the NiSIG leadership team, get in touch with the chapter presidents, zonal coordinators, or even the national president. I'm very, very sure every one of these guys is going to be happy to help you with these things. All right, these are 2 important documents for you. On the left side, you can see the application form that you would need to fill out. Once again, www.nisig.de/barma. It's in English, super easy. If you have questions, let me know. And on the right side is going to be your health insurance card, and that is going to be, yeah, kind of like your credit card, so to say. So just keep that with you at all times when you're around in Germany. If you show this card to the doctor and it says Barma on it, you are good to go. You are going to get treated and you don't have to pay anything in advance. All right. And that should be it for now. Let's just see. I've seen a couple of questions popping in right there. Teresa, maybe you could help me with these.
Yes, we have questions coming in already. Thank you so much for making that so very brief and very clear. And I'm sure, yeah, people understood every part of it. So quickly, we'll be going into the questions. So I'll be asking, okay, one from the chat here that says, what makes Barma stand out from, compared to other insurance in Germany? So what makes Barma, you are Barma right now, what makes you stand out?
And that is the biggest benefit that you just mentioned. You guys have me. No, that's definitely a big point. So speaking of public insurance providers in general, 98% of everything is completely the same. We're all dealing with things that are regulated by law, and we all follow the law, so there are no differences in between coverage. I've heard people getting information about certain providers not covering stuff as long as it's a public one. That is not true. Get in touch with someone you can trust in regards to these things. Fully covered, no matter what it is. Same goes for all of the public insurance providers. The big difference that you are going to get is service. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys, I've been looking at the audience for a bit. I've noticed some names, and I'm sure a couple of people can tell you a story here and there of their issues they had in the past. So it is the most important thing to really have someone who's dealing with your stuff. That is the most important thing. Other than that, we are focusing on prevention, other than treatment, which is regulated by law once again. But we want to do more for you guys. We want to help you stay healthy. We want to help you before you actually get sick, because of course it's in our own interest. And we've also put a huge focus on digital services. So I always like to say, if you don't want to have anything to do with us, you don't need to, because you can do it all online.
Okay, all right. So you've read it. No major difference. They're all there for the services, but if I were you, I would choose Barma. All right, so I'll be asking, something linked to what I just said now. So how easy is it for me to switch? For example, I'm using AOCA right now. How easy for me to switch from AOCA to Barma?
Super easy. All you need to do is get in touch with me. Either way, you could fill out the application form yourself. But in these cases, I always like to just go for a quick video call. Let's do it together. Let me do this for you. What I'll do is I'll deal with AOK in that case, or with your insurance provider that you are in right now. All I need is pretty much a signature of you, and that's all it is. I'll deal with the rest.
Okay. All right. I'm sure someone here in our chat wants to, smile and then get a lot of attention on the streets. So does the insurance cover for teeth whitening or teeth cleaning, stuff like that. You be paid this. Do we have that, privilege to wash it? Because I want to wash my teeth too. I want to, just smile and then there's this sparkle that comes.
I get that. I mean, it's important. There's a big difference in between teeth whitening and dealing with your teeth in the way that might be for medical reasons. So teeth whitening, to keep it straight, no. If you just do it for cosmetic reasons, it is not going to be covered. But there is, and wow, now you are trying to get me into remembering vocabulary here, which I don't do at the moment. But there's certain stuff on your teeth. If you do like a teeth cleaning at the doctor's, there is some stuff which you can't get rid of yourself. And this stuff does a big difference when it comes to the color of your teeth. And in that case, if it's the medical reason, meaning there is some stuff you can't get rid of by yourself, you are going to be good to go once a year. If you go for professional teeth cleaning, which is more of a cosmetic reason, or teeth whitening, it is not covered now.
Okay. So, well, now let me say how I feel right now, because I don't feel happy about that. All right. Someone here asks, like, okay, what's the major difference between private and public?
Definitely the way bills work. So with public insurance, as you remember, I just showed you a little kind of like credit card. You just use this at every doctor's visit, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need to do. Just show the card, show the Barmer VIP card, and you are good to go. If you are with private insurance, and there are certain private insurance providers, which I'm not going to name, which are very common among students. I'm sure you all know which ones I mean. In these cases, you have to pay for your doctor's visits first, most likely even directly after the doctor's visit. So while you're still in the office, you are going to see an open hand asking for some money. And yeah, you have to pay it first and then ask for reimbursement. And you're not sure, and you can't be sure if you actually get some money back, or or how much you actually get back. That would be the biggest difference. There's a couple of other ones in regards to getting a job easier, etc. But that would be too much for now.
Okay, so basically, it's if you're using a public insurance, you already have your card, and you take that card to the hospital. You do not have to pay. You do not have to do anything. But if you're using a private insurance, you are going to be asked to pay some money, even though you might still request it back from your insurance company, but you will be requested to pay at that instance. Okay. All right, I'm sure that was clear enough. So my next question is, how is this for Burma insurance? Is it accepted at all hospitals, or there are some hospitals I can just walk in and show them my Burma card? And
yeah, that's not going to be an issue. Same goes for GPs. Pretty much all of them are going to be working with public insurance providers, since that's the majority of Germans actually are under public insurance. There is just a few ones that are only for privately insured ones, but that's most likely not for students, but rather for like professional football players, etc.
Okay. And I'll be asking about family. The question says, what's Burma like for family? Like, what's the scope of coverage? And yeah, compared to our
we've recently already been getting another award for this. So we do also focus on families. Just on a side note, for those who don't know, if you come here with your wife or husband and kids, they are most likely going to be covered for free. So that's one of the most important things. Yeah, we have a couple of special programs if a family is expecting or is planning to expect soon. So yeah, you can look forward to this.
Okay, all right. Right now, this question makes me smile because the person seemed hungry. So the question says, what is it been with over 30 years? Like, why do I have to use a public insurance up to 30? Like, what's the major reason for that? Is it some kind of law or?
To be honest, it's to protect you guys. So everyone below 30 has to use public insurance in the first place. There are some exceptions to it, and that's yeah. I could be good old German here and say that's the law, that's how it is. But if you're asking me personally, I think that's to protect you guys, especially when it comes to being an international student. I've had the worst things happen in the past, and not even speaking of funny things. It's been a mess partially. And yeah, once you turn 30, things get a little bit more expensive. If you're above 30 in the first place before coming to Germany, unfortunately, you are unable to join the public system. But I'm also happy to hit you up and help you with the private insurance in that case. And once you turn 30 while being publicly insured, things get a little bit more expensive, but you also have the option to opt out of public insurance and change to private insurance in that case. Otherwise, last thing in this, if you opt in for private insurance, first of all, while being below 30, if you are one of these exceptions I just mentioned, there is no way to get back into public insurance while you're still a student. So that's just very important. We've had this also happen a lot of time, even with a couple of Nigerians that I've spoken to. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Okay, so talking about the age limits, I mean, for some students, they're already over 30. And what happens to them? I mean, okay, maybe I started my master's at the age of 29 and I clocked 30 and I'm still a student. So what happens? What kind of insurance would I be on? Like, how does it work?
Students below the age of 30 have a discounted insurance. So they just save some money here. Once you turn 30, you can decide if you either way want to stay with public insurance and you just pay a little more in that case, or you could opt out, go into private insurance. But at the latest, if you're, for example, going for a master's already 30, once you get a job or if you do an internship, a paid one, volunteered, for example, you have to join the public system again.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. All right, talking about, looking good and maintaining good stuff and like that. So let's say, for example, I have, body pains, from working, schooling, working online and all those stuff. And I need someone to do a very smooth and clean massage for me. I need a body massage. So does it cover for it? Like, do I have to pay additional money for that? Or it covers for body?
I mean, when I'm looking at your example, I do have a question. Is it more like cleaning or really body massage?
No, body massage.
I get that. No, when it's as long as it's for medical reasons. So if I'm having like I'm in home office right now, I do have quite some ergonomic stuff around here. But if I still have back issues, which is unavoidable, I can go and see a physiotherapist and get a massage from him, and that is also going to be covered. So that's super easy. If I just do it for, I just don't feel so good, I just want to get a massage. If it's more for like, because I would like to have something and I don't have medical issues, you're free to go for it, but you will have to pay for it if it's just for your personal, feel good.
Okay, I'll be taking these last two questions because of our time. Does Bama have like a private insurance coverage?
No, we just deal with public insurance, but we can help you with our partners in that.
Okay. And then as a couple, that's the last question for today. As a married couple, how much do I have to pay? So if I'm married and I want to use Bama?
Yeah, if you're a student below the age of 30, that is going to be around 110, 112. If you are a student above the age of 30, that is going to be a bit more. That's going to end up at around 200, unfortunately. That's why I said it's a bit more expensive. But your husband, wife is going to be covered for free as long as they don't work.
Oh, okay. So they have to be jobless. All right. Thank you so much for that session. And as I said earlier on, that you can get in contact with him or through the executives of NiSIG for you to, find out some more. You're just coming into Germany, you need your health insurance. Unlike myself coming in, I had to pay some money to do health insurance in Nigeria just for visa. And then I got here to pay another one. So do not be like Theresa here. Wise up. Bama is here with us, guys. So you can forward your questions to him. His number is on the screen right now. So you can note that and get his email address to which is on the screen. And then you can get in contact with him. Trust me, he is here to make our lives here in Germany so very smooth and easy. So do not hesitate to get in contact with him. Thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. Thank you. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure that everyone has learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Stay safe and healthy, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, and you too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Alex. Bye.
All right, guys. Once again, just for us to know, this program is being recorded, so that you're aware of that. All right, so moving on quickly, we'll be going into this session has to do with you having a roof over your head. You do not want to come and live on the streets. You want to have a fine house. As I'm looking at Simi's house right now, you want to have that kind of house. You want to
Please.
no background. Sorry, too late. You'll be squatting. You want to flex in your place. Okay, I'll be handing over to the next person that will take you on the road.
Okay, so this next session is going to be, can you guys hear me? I believe so. Okay. So this
Yes, I can hear you.
Amazing. So this next session is going to be taken by myself and Dio, and we're just going to run through a couple of slides, just as we've done before. If you have any questions, just put them in the comment or in the Q&A segment of the box, and then we would address them as soon as we can. So I'll hand over to Dio now. Maybe he can share his screen, and then we will start the. Okay.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, I mean, I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Hello, Simi?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so hello, everybody.
Hello.
You can see the screen sharing. Simi, so what can you see?
I can see the first page of the slide deck.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simi. Sorry, just 30 seconds. I need to, because I'm using 2 screens to get this done. Okay. So accommodation. Well, this is just Germany. You can speak German, you have a job, your money is well invested, you are well insured, now you need a house, right? Okay, so the first thing is, well, not the first thing, before you come into the country, so I'm speaking from the perspective, I'm speaking for those that are just coming into the country, because if you're living in Germany, I guess you have a house right now. So if you're just coming into Germany, where do you want to stay? First of all, hello, Simi, am I with you?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, so there are 2 types of housing in Germany. There's the public and the private housing. I will go over the public housing. So the public housing is majorly administered by Studentenwerk, I think so. So first of all, when you come into Germany, this is a map of Germany. Can you see the map?
Yes, I see the map.
Okay, so Simi, I'm just going to be relating back to you because...
Yeah, of course, I'm here. We're good.
Yeah. So the map of Germany, you need to know where's your city, where's your town. And okay, before I go on, NiSIG chapter is in almost every state, almost every region of Germany. So you need to first do your connection, know where you are in this part of Germany. So in this part of Germany, you have definitely, you search for the student housing corporations in your town, in your city. You check for the rental housing agencies also there. Those are the private ones, and the internet and social media for your city, and short stay student accommodation. So before you come in, maybe you don't have the long-term stay, there's a short-term stay. So there are public offers on ground for short-term stay where you have to pay daily, per night. So I don't know if you can capture the screen. This is like this website of the Studentenwerk. This Studentenwerk, I think, is still the best opportunity to live like in a shared apartment if you cannot afford like the your own apartment here. So they offer like 1 bedroom to almost 20 students, but well, there's Corona. I wouldn't advise that for now. But in best case scenario, it's very good to share and live with other cultures, other people from other cultures, other countries, so you can actually pick up German language, as the case may be. So for students in VEC, the waiting time is like 9 months to 1 year. So if you're in Nigeria right now, I think you should just apply right now. Just apply and wait on the queue. The queue is long. Trust me, it's long. So that's my number one advice for public housing. The second offer is like the Jungenberger. This also, they are in different towns, but not every city in Germany. So you need to check. These are their websites. You can do the screen capture for the website and you see, okay, which one is in my city, which one is not my city. Also Students in Dorf, I think is only in Berlin. Yeah. So if you come into Berlin, you know where to go to. So that's it for now. I give it over to Simi.
Yeah, so I will also cover like private housing. One thing you also need to make sure you register with is when you start into a new city, it might be a big one or a small one, make sure you try to get in contact with the international office or the student union in your city. Networking is the way for everything when it comes to referrals for like jobs or anything, visas, as well as accommodation. So the more people you know in your network, the easier it is for you to get some of these, apartments. And one thing you would always hear as well, not just for students, but for everyone, is there's a little bit of a deficit when it comes to the rental market in Berlin. So most times the demand is high and the supply is not, most times it doesn't match exactly what you would want. So most of the opportunities or most of the apartments you would find as a student would be with the private housing, the part that is private housing. It's very important for you to make sure that you try as much as possible and you think about some things that are also unconventional. I remember when I was also a student and I had an internship somewhere close to Heidelberg. It's like south of Germany, and I was a student, but I wasn't a student in south of Germany, so I wasn't eligible to any of those like public housing. So I had to find some type of private solution for myself. And it wasn't the best scenario, but it was just what I needed to do at the time. So when you're looking for a private apartment, you have to make sure that first and foremost, I mean, most of the descriptions might be in German. So hopefully you would have learned a little bit more German to be able to understand what is being said. If not, here are a couple of abbreviations that you should really keep your eye out for. So you have like the Zweizimmerwohnung, and that is just like an apartment with 2 rooms. Doesn't include the living room, so it's just 2 rooms in general. And then you have like this Zweizimmer, Küche, Diele, and Bad. So it's just like an apartment that has, 2 rooms, right? And it also has a kitchen and a bathroom. Then you also need to think of, there's KT for the Kaution, that's the deposit. And then there's also another concept in Germany that is called warm rent and cold rent. So the NK is the addition on the cold rent that makes it warm. I'll touch on that a little bit in the next paragraph. So you also have to think about some apartments don't allow smoking. Personally, I don't think you should be smoking, but if you have to, make sure you're looking for apartments that allow you to smoke. And also, if you're also eligible, like if you're in a family, you can apply for this VBS, and it's some type of income support certificate that you get. And this also helps you to reduce your rent, the rent you have to pay a lot. So most important is the deposit. So when you're paying a deposit for an apartment, it is 3 times your cold rent. So Miete is like just the amount you have to pay, the base fee, basically. And then you have something that is called a Nebenkosten that you add to the Miete, that gives you the warm rent, right? So the deposit is going to be 3 times of your cold rent. You also can ask some of these organizations, and I believe by law, if there are any lawyers in the room, please correct me. By law, the Wohnungen, the building should allow you to pay it in 3 installments. You don't always have to pay it at once, but you should also ask around and make sure you get all the information when it comes to deposits. So I'll hand it over to Daya for the next segment, which I think is just more information.
Hello, thank you very much, Simi. So going further on the, hello, Simi?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just saying, like, do you want to start, like, so the different types of temporary accommodation that you can find?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So temporary accommodation, you have cheap hotels. This is like the €10 for a night. The A and O hostels. You have even just normal hotels are cheap, so low cost hotels. You have youth hostels, and you also have something for women where it's a hostel, but it's just for women. There's maybe a wing for women. You have the private B&B. That one is like maybe you're doing internship somewhere or you're just going for a 2-week vacation somewhere. The private B&B is good, like the Airbnb. You just message them online and you pay. You can even use booking.com also to get these places. And there's also something in Germany they call guest houses. This is a traditional German accommodation whereby like the 2, 3, probably is like 4-story building is just a house. On ground floor, probably small businesses. Second floor, maybe a bar or restaurant. Then the other floors above are like what I would call houses. So you just very basic amenities are provided over there. Just to sleep, wake up, take your bath, then you can go to the restaurant or the bar to eat or something if you need to do some printing. So there are typical German guest houses all around. You could just go online and you see them. So another tip for getting your accommodation is before you travel to anywhere or coming to Germany, always book early and check, confirm your dates, confirm your room, confirm everything, and read through the contract, what you're supposed to do or not. Yeah, so that's the information about the tip. Another information is, if you're coming to Germany, depending on the city you're going into, you're going to stay from Berlin. If you're in Berlin, you're expected anything from €400 and above to €800, and I think that's just like the average 400 to 800, just average 1-bedroom apartment, I think, and it could be higher in other places in Germany like Frankfurt, Munich, or Hamburg. So it gets higher, and it might be probably lower in, I don't know, Cottbus or Thuringen. Well, depends. Don't quote me on this. So other information. Okay, the last information I will give, or would Simi like to take the last?
Yes, let me talk about it. Of course, I would like to.
Okay.
So before I talk about that slide, there are 2 other things that just popped in my mind and I felt like might make sense to share. So the first thing is everybody's situation is different, right? So you might be coming into Germany and you're starting with a family. So you might be a student, but you're coming with like your wife or maybe a couple of kids, or maybe you're coming to Germany to work, right? You're not coming in as a student, so you don't get this Bescheinigung that you get from your school that allows you to get student apartments. And you might also, just come and flex. So you're somewhere in the middle, or you're just a student. So you also have to think about like what you need depending on where you're at. If you're coming in as a student, chances are you would get an apartment, and you will get an apartment soon. It might not be the cheapest, but chances are you will. If you're coming as a family, depending on the way you come in, if you're coming from a job, or for example, and it's maybe a reputable company, sometimes they support you with this relocation. They have like a relocation phase for a couple of weeks. And so they will situate you and situate your family, and you'll get some type of okay. And then they also help you find agents that will help you get a proper apartment. And the last thing I also wanted to mention is if you're in a very good, tight, and responsive community, it's possible that you would find someone who is already maybe a Nigerian, African, anybody else that already lives in Germany, has maybe like 3 rooms, uses 2, and has a spare one. So if you're respectful enough, I always make sure, I always ask around and make sure that if you're staying in someone's house, even though you're paying rent, you're still a guest. So make sure you're respectful and make sure you abide by whatever they say you need to do in the apartment. But if this is your cup of tea, you can also ask around. There might be somebody that has a spare room that is willing to rent out to you. One other point, sorry, I just keep remembering things. Anmeldung. This could be a whole topic for a whole day. So if you're also getting an apartment, as the NiSIG chapter already mentioned, they have like this legal clinic or legal aid. So make sure you speak to them and make sure that you have everything you need to get an annual dog, and make sure the apartment you're getting gives you some type of like certificate that allows you get the annual done. So yeah, so use your network, don't rush, don't be in too much of a hurry. Make sure you have all the information that you need. So make sure, like, for example, there are some apartments, if you're not a student and you're working and you get an apartment, you might get a surprise at the end of the year. It says, so now you've paid your rent, but you have to pay different electricity bill, right? So make sure you get all the information beforehand. And even as a student, you might get into some apartments and they tell you, oh yes, there's internet, but you have to pay to connect to it, right? And maybe you thought, internet came with the apartment and it doesn't. So also you have to make sure you take time, like you open your eyes, nobody scams you, and just be social, ask around, and probably, yeah, you will get a good apartment, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, so I think that is the end of the presentation.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much. Again, ask your questions. I don't see no questions in the chat box. Are there questions? Let me actually confirm.
I think everybody has a house or accommodation.
Everybody has a house, so I guess, yeah. But if you have
need us
any
to
extra
tell it, but
questions,
it's
let us
for
know.
people coming in newly, I guess.
Yeah, people coming in newly, if you have any questions about it, just let us know. I guess we're up, the time is up now, and we have to hand over to the next segment. Thank you guys for your excuse me, attention. And yeah, next.
Bye. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for that. Can you hear me? Am I being heard?
Yeah, sure, you're being heard. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It went all quiet for a minute. All right, so we're moving into being a geek. See, it's good for you to, you've sorted your health insurance, investment part, being having a job, having a place to stay. These other parts is what makes you a real scholar. So not just being the title. Now you are original scholar. So we'll be talking about achieving academic excellence. Yeah, we are not just talkatives here. Trust me, there are a lot of scholars, real scholars on this call, and we would want all of you guys just joining us to be one. And so, Olamide, I'm going to be giving the floor to Olamide, which, well, she's right here with me anyways. So she's going to be the one to take this next session. All right, I'm going. Bye, guys. Don't miss me too much.
Hi, everyone. She probably did not remember to mention all my names. My name is Olamide Olabibiola. And like she said, I'm going to be moderating this session of achieving academic excellence. And of course, our very own Professor Dr. Brando Okolo is here. And I'm going to be reading a few things, his short profile, so that you get to understand the person that is going to come up and speak to you. Professor Brando Okolo currently serves as the founding director at the Steinbeis Institute for Material Applications and 3D Printing Solutions. He holds a PhD in Material Science and Engineering from the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems and University of Stuttgart. He obtained bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the Enugu State University of Science and Technology and his master's degree also in chemical engineering from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom. Following his PhD in 2003, he worked as a lecturer and researcher at the University of Karlsruhe, TH, now Karlsruhe Institute for Technology, till 2009. When he accepted a full university professorship at the German University in Cairo as a professor of material science and engineering. In 2014, he took a leave from his academic position in Cairo to co-found the 3D printing technologies company, INDMATEC, where sorry, I can't pronounce, where he served as both CTO and managing director until his departure in 2019 to focus on the educational aspect of additive manufacturing using his platform as Steinbeis EMAPS. He also currently holds a professorship at the business school, Karlshochschule International University in Karlsruhe, where he teaches entrepreneurship as well as change and innovation at the masterclass level. Professor Brando is passionate about craft of entrepreneurship, especially the ability to leverage one's talent, know-how, and endowments within an innovative space. He has initiated and managed several technologically driven programs in Europe and Africa, covering areas of commercialization, life-saving applications, and in national security environments. Wow. He holds international patents in the field of 3D printing technologies and has published extensively in the areas of materials science, additive manufacturing, 3D printing technologies, and social change. Really, I'm about to somersault. This is a lot. Without further ado, I'm gonna, please clap wherever you are, introduce and bring to you Professor Brando Okolo. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that very kind introduction. And I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak to the Nigerian scholars in Germany. I came in a bit early, so I had the chance to listen to the previous speakers. And I would say that, a presentation like that before I arrived Germany about 20 years ago, really. Without wasting much of our time, even academic excellence. And oftentimes when one hears about academic excellence, what comes to mind is, making good grades, certificates, degrees, and all that, but it's more than that, as you would see in my presentation, okay? Good, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Perfect, okay, good. So I prepared an outline to help us go through this presentation. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, we're going to try to define academic excellence. What is academic excellence? And I'll outline a few elements of academic excellence. I'll try to talk about the pathways to academic excellence. And so what next? You now have academic excellence. What else? What next do you do with your time? What do you do with all that talent? What do you do with all that degree and certificates? And I'd like to talk also about how to sustain academic excellence. And I'll leave you with some final words on what it takes to be able to, push through this whole concept of academic excellence. Good. So, what is academic excellence? When you hear the word academic excellence, what comes to mind is, high grades, making A's, straight A's and all that, or, accumulating certificates or accumulating degrees, or to study abroad or overseas, or being awarded a scholarship, or being on a fellowship, or receiving a studentship, or occupying an academic position. But it's more than that. Now, I want to quickly draw a distinction between institutional academic excellence and individual academic excellence. When you talk about institutional academic excellence, we have, as the Germans now do, they now try to rank their universities. So we have the elite universities, and even within a university, you have faculties that have distinguished themselves and tried to attain international visibility within their chosen fields. So that also is a certain variant of academic excellence. But my focus in this presentation will be on the academic excellence of an individual, of scholars, so to say, okay? So my very brief definition of academic excellence is the recognizable high standards attained by a scholar in their pursuit of formal educational goals. So this is, in a very simple way, what academic excellence is to me. When you as an individual, you set your goals and, come up with a strategy on how to realize those goals within an academic environment. And those goals could a transition from one educational level to the next, from high school to university, from undergraduate school to graduate school. It could mean obtaining remarkable grades in a test or an exam. It could involve publishing an article in a peer-reviewed journal. It could mean successfully defending a theory or a concept before a body of academic authority. Or it could mean the conferment of an academically recognized honor, like a certificate, a ranking, making the dean's lists, winning a prize, or getting a letter of recognition for the work you've done as a scholar. All of that is what academic excellence entails. Sorry. And so some of the elements of academic excellence are, you need to know what your skills are. You need to know who you are. You need to really understand yourself. So the first thing I'll always say to, undergrads who are aspiring to either make a career in academia or who are passionate about, everything going on within the world of academia, what I say to them is to carefully pick your academic fight. You have to carefully pick your academic fight. And that fight could be anything from my goal is to be able to get my master's degree within the next 3 years, for instance, and know exactly what you need to do to be able to achieve that goal. And another example could be that if you're not good in computational work and your goal is to get into process engineering, where there's a really heavy computational component to it, I would say don't settle for that. So you really need to know what you're good at, and on the basis of that, you set your academic goals. The other point, of course, related to the first part I talked about, is to know your limits of academic stamina. You have to know that. You have to know what you can do. As an individual, you need to know that there's a rigorous aspect of being in academia, and you need to be not just mentally prepared to confront that rigor, but you need to also be physically prepared and socially prepared to confront that rigor. And in terms of academic stamina, you can actually build your stamina as well. Just the way you build physical stamina, you can also build up academic stamina. You can train, you can exercise, you can, basically, do the lifting. I would say the theoretical lifting needed to build yourself up, your academic stamina up. Okay, and another element of academic excellence is to develop a sense of academic scholarship. It is so important. It's important that you start communicating as early as possible at the very frequency of people in academia. You need to understand the lingo. You need to understand the way to conduct and comport yourself within an academic environment. It's important, okay? And you need to be able to align yourself with an academic institution. So you can't operate in vacuum, so to say. You need to identify with a school. You need to identify with a research group if that's your path. If your goal is to gain admission into a university, then you need to do the preparations for that. You need to either start taking classes, depending on which course you want to go in for at the university. If you're going into the sciences, then of course you need to start, building yourself, your physics, chemistry, biology dependent. If you're going into the humanities, then you need to start, doing a lot of work in terms of, reading up on history, reading up on psychology, reading up on government and all things like that. you need to prepare for it. And you can only do this, in a more stressless situation by being part of a high school, or being part of you need to be part of a school really to drive yourself to that point. And you need to have an ability to think original and creatively, very, very important. It's a skill which you need to develop if you don't have it. You need to be original in what you do. You shouldn't be seen as a copycat within the world of academia. Very important. And you need to have a sense of perseverance or grit and patience as well. You should have a never give up attitude. You should be able to do the very heavy lifting involved in pursuing academic excellence. You need to know how to keep up late. You need to know how to study for long hours. You need to know how to sharpen your thoughts to the point where you can actually understand concepts very easily. Yeah. And you need to have a love for study and extracurricular activities as well. I give myself as an example. When I finished my PhD and, I started applying for jobs and, essentially what next to do. And I got a postdoc position, and that postdoc position came from playing football. I was part of a football small team within the Max Planck Institute in Stuttgart. And one of the guys I played with said to me one day, "Oh, Brando, so-and-so is now a professor in Karlsruhe, and I could put in a few words for you." And that's how I moved from Stuttgart to Karlsruhe. And it's important that the environment where you are operating as a scholar sees you as being inclusive, sees you as being participatory in whatever is going on there, okay? And of course, you need to learn how to manage your time. Very, very important. When it's time to study, you should be studying and not partying, for instance. You need to know how to, come up with a schedule that, moves you through. You need to tune yourself, tune your mind, tune every aspect of your faculty to know what's priority. And as a scholar, what's priority is studying and not just passing exams, but also, trying to, move the boundaries of knowledge. That's what you do as a scholar, okay? And you need to have a craftsmanship for improving things, for improving ideas, concept, object, to be able to get hold of a concept or an idea or an object and understand how it works and think about how you could make it better, how you could improve on it. You need to have that mindset. And you need to have the ability to develop fundamental questions and seek answers to those questions. And especially for those of us, or for those of you that decide to take up the path of postgraduate study and possibly a career in academia, this is so important. You need to be able to formulate academic questions, and really look at those questions for the very, very fundamental aspect of it. You need to be asking questions which are extraordinary in certain ways. You need to have a skill to be able to do that, to look at a situation and extract out of that situation the very basic understanding that has not been illuminated at that point. And of course, you need to be able to identify a mentor or a role model to be able to go on this journey this journey of academic excellence. You need to identify people whom inspire you. You need to identify people whom you think could speak to you about or share their experiences with you. You need to identify people whom could, come in to help you, manage the doubts, the anxiety that you encounter as a scholar. This is so critical. Okay, good. Now, the pathways to academic excellence, there are three things you probably would do to be able to achieve academic excellence. The first is teaching. So important. You need to learn how to share knowledge with other people. You know, you cannot give what you don't have. And your ability to understand concepts, your ability to understand, you know, principles and theory, everything that is being covered within your world as a scholar, your ability to be able to understand it and share that information with a third party in the most simple way is already academic success, I can tell you. And ways you can do this by taking up student or teaching assistantships. This way, you cannot help not preparing before you teach either undergrads or some of your other colleagues, or taking up a lecturership, wherever, it doesn't matter. But, you know, there's a certain level of preparation. Can you hear me?
You're doing things and units. You start from this place. You start from the units.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. And so it's so important that you have a certain level of preparedness.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please hold a bit?
Okay.
Okay, you can continue, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So I mean, as a lecturer, it doesn't matter in what form, whether you're a graduate assistant, whether you're a full lecturer, you need to prepare before you teach, and that preparation process opens your mind to dimensions about that topic you intend to teach, which you never had encountered before. And remember, to be able to be a master of a certain topic, teaching is a path to doing that. Teaching is one way of learning as well. So you need to keep that in mind. And one other way you can achieve academic excellence is to take up research assistantships. And you can do this already as an undergrad. You must not be a graduate student to do this. As an undergrad, you could identify investigators that are working on topics which you find attractive and see if, you know, you could be part of the team. I mean, we do that here in Germany. We have so-called HEVs. So even already working as a HEV, you're being exposed to aspects of whether it's science and technology or whether it's part of the humanities, but aspects that helps you build the discipline needed to you know, to survive on that path of academic excellence. Okay. And even when you become a key investigator or a principal investigator, your ability to be able to, you know, forge new research paths drives you closer to academic excellence. Okay. And also you need to, you know, give yourself a certain level of exposure. You need to try to attend workshops and conferences, you know, take the boldness to say, I'm going to prepare a poster and make a poster presentation, either at an international workshop or local workshop. It doesn't matter, but you need that exposure, opportunity to build the confidence needed to speak to, you know, to a panel of experts. It doesn't matter, you know, what their level of expertise is, but you have the confidence to be able to speak to them. And that confidence is built by attending as many workshops and conferences as possible. Okay. Good. And so what next after academic excellence? There are three things again you can do. One, you can decide to go private. So you've now attained academic excellence. You have realized your goal. You have your master's degree, you have your bachelor's degree, you have your PhD degree. You've published all the papers you want. You have a patent or several patents. You've become a director of a research institute, or you become a principal investigator, whatever it is. You've been elevated to an academic level where you can comfortably say that I have realized a recognizable academic position. So what happens next? Yeah, three things you can do. You could say, oh, in my academic journey, I've come up with a concept which I think I can commercialize as an entrepreneur. So what you do, you become an entrepreneur and you try to commercialize whatever that concept is. And as you commercialize it, you develop it. It could be your software, it could be a consumer product, whatever it is. Once you commercialize, you improve it based on the feedback you get from end users, and then essentially you try to become financially comfortable, basically. The second path you could take is to go to industry. You get a job in industry, work within a development group, and also within that industrial environment. If the passion for academic work is there, you still find yourself pursuing things that give you, academic visibility, things that allows you go to conferences to present, things allows you to collaborate with people within the academic environment to develop new concepts for whoever your employers in the industry are. And if you decide to pursue a career in academia, of course, it is, as they say, publish or perish. So you're constantly, trying to report on some of the topics you're working on. You're building up a research team. You're supervising, bachelor's, master's, and PhD works. And as you supervise them, you get new inspiration, work on new topics, and get all the accolades that goes with it. Okay. So these are, some of the things that you can do after academic excellence. In all of this, never forget who you are and where you're coming from. So of course, my first thought now is that I'm speaking to Nigerians that have been born here and in academia, or those that have come from elsewhere and are in academia trying to make it here in academia. Okay, and so never forget where you're coming from, no matter what it is. Never forget where you're coming from. It doesn't matter what your academic pedigree is, whether you attended a village school, whether you attended a township school, whatever it is, and you're here and you're on that path to academic excellence. Never forget where you're coming from. Okay, good. So how can you sustain academic excellence? There's several ways you can do that, and I've put up 6 ways you can actually do that. One is to increase your academic experiences, and you can do that by, offering lectures. Even when you're working in industry, deciding to speak to either your colleagues, prepare lectures, speak to your colleagues about a concept which the team is working on. If you're as an entrepreneur, be prepared to go to business schools, be prepared to go to high schools, be prepared to meet with some of your professional colleagues and speak about some of the concepts you're working on. So giving lectures is one way of increasing your academic experience, and that's one way of sustaining your academic excellence. You can decide to enroll or give online courses, engage in webinars, take up professional memberships, attend meetings, and hear what other people are working on, and take all of that information as input into some of the topics you're currently working on. Okay, you need to be able to identify and invest in points of academic distinction. For instance, by taking up fellowship, by commercializing your idea. This is an investment. So the time you put into saying, I'm going to take a 2-year leave from work to be able to either take up a second master degree or to go for my PhD work. It's an investment, and it's one way of also moving ahead academically. You need to be able to expand your academic network, collaborate with cross-disciplinary teams. I give you myself as an example. I trained I studied both first and second degree as a chemical engineer, and I was very comfortable with working in a process plant. At my PhD level, I decided to pursue PhD work in material science. I got involved in developing new materials, testing materials, looking for new applications for materials. And over time, I found myself working with groups coming from the medical sector, groups that were involved in, how do we design implants? How do we design medical devices? For me, it was a completely new field, but this was a field where one of the up from. So you need to have that level of, open-mindedness to say, I'm prepared to go into a field, take my skills, my know-how into a field that looks strange and see how I can perform within that field. Okay. You need to also be able to build your own network. That network could be online or offline. It doesn't matter. We have all kinds of online platforms today, either on LinkedIn, where you can create your own group and populate that group and drive a certain concept forward. Okay. So in a certain way, that's also academic currency that you're building up for yourself by being able to manage a network or a group. You can build your own lab or research group. You can do that by applying for grants, even take out a loan if the conviction you have for what you're working on is very strong. Then life is a risk. It doesn't matter whether you're doing that as a profit-driven, financial profit-driven entrepreneur, or a social entrepreneur or an academic entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. Risks are involved, and you need to be prepared to take those risks to drive your academic journey forward. Okay. You need to be able to is with your core research focus. An example to this is if you fully understand the area where you're working on as a scholar, it shouldn't stop you from saying, oh, there is a certain tool or an instrument that is used in the field of engineering, and I can actually adapt that tool to the field of humanities. I could use that tool to understand how certain demographics function, for instance. So your ability to be able to chat new parts is already academic excellence. And finally, you need to be able to develop your focus and enlist students for bachelor's thesis work, for master thesis work, or PhD work to help you drive that concept forward. And remember, it's free. You don't have to pay these students, especially if you're already in academia. You just formulate the research topic, and most of them are very happy to work with you. They generate data for you. That data says a lot to you, and with that data, you're able to not just move your career forward, but also give visibility to the team that you're working within. So here are my final words. So typically what people see is they see you already as an accomplished individual, academically accomplished individual. They don't see, the training you had to go through. They don't see the failures. They don't see the hard work. They don't see the injury. They don't see, the fears and anxiety you feel. They don't see the disappointments, that you faced, and, the energy you've put into trying to, keep yourself going. One thing I would say to you is believe that you can excel academically. It's something you have to key into yourself, that I can excel academically. You need to have a drive and energy to excel academically. You need to be able to seek pleasure, find pleasure, and be passionate about the process of excelling academically. You need to be able to learn. You need to make yourself teachable and be aware that what works for you to excel academically, you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware that, okay, normally for me, the best time to study is at night, or what works best for me is to be able to study with, have a sparring partner to study with. You need to know what works for you, what it is that you normally do that brings you academic success, and focus on that. And finally, never give up. You need to be persistent. You need to persevere till you achieve academic excellence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. We've really learned a lot. Thank you so much. So I see that there are questions. Someone says that they have 2 questions for the professor. Can you type your questions as soon as possible so that it would quickly give answers to these questions? Okay. Maybe, Prof, you could give us your email address or something. Okay.
Okay.
Professor, someone is asking if you could send the presentation slides afterwards. Is it possible that
Sure, I can share that with you. Absolutely. It's for you. I can share that with you. It's no problem. Yeah.
Someone is also asking what your best idea or advice is that can make a scholar to think original and creatively?
So what's your best advice to approach that can make a scholar to think original and creatively? So so when you look at a concept, your ability to be able to deconstruct that concept, you can start thinking originally. And also your ability to be able to correlate events, correlate ideas here as well. So, it's something that you are on top of on top of a topic, something hits you. Oh, this hasn't been looked into. Let me look at that. Let me investigate this. Let me pursue this path. That is originality. Okay. Okay, I see another question here. What do you mean by never forget where you are coming from and why? The fact that you're on the path or you've achieved academic excellence, you should also, remember that you need to remember your origins. You need to remember that all that accolade, all that success, all that accumulation of academic wealth should be shared with people, from wherever you come from, whether you're a city boy, whether you come from a home where the other kids that have not had that exposure, share that exposure with them. Inspire people around you, inspire people in your village, inspire people in the cities where you grew up, inspire some of your colleagues, people you went to high school and university with, without intimidating them. Share your, okay?
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me because my internet is really messing up, but
I can hear
okay.
you. I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Someone has sent you a LinkedIn request, so maybe then this person will communicate with you afterwards. Thank you so much, Professor Kola.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and all the best. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe the next session would be a couple of updates from NiSIG, and I imagine Emmanuel is going to take this. So do we have Emmanuel available? Yes. Okay, and right after this, he's going to give us a couple of important information about the next events, upcoming things we need to be aware about. And then we're going to be back by popular demand because a couple of questions that the investments and savings speaker couldn't finish. So we will do that right after. So over to you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Simi. I don't know if Kenny is also here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. So Kenny, thank you very much. So Kenny, do you have some few questions for the Secretariat, or do you just want me to speak on behalf of the Secretariat?
Not now. I don't have any question. I think based on the events you'll be talking about, then I can have questions. I'll see if I have questions and I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be very brief about the NiSIG upcoming events. I will just briefly touch 2 or 3 of them so that I can give Simi the opportunity to bring Winston back on board to address some of the questions that he could not address because of the short time. So majorly, we have a calendar year that we try to walk through, and we try our best to ensure that all the programs that we've outlined at the beginning of the administration, we try to achieve all we are set to do.
Just quickly, because I want to
Okay, So the next program that I think might be coming up is the summer school, which we're currently working on right now. I might not be able to give much information on that because the secretariats have not really finished all the planning phase of this program, but it's just something for our members to anticipate. That will be having the summer school, the first of its kind in the history of NiSIG EV. And we hope that we'll get everything set up to ensure that the aims and objectives of the summer school is achieved to the best of our ability. We are currently also working on setting up an advanced level of NiSIG to provide a kind of transition for our members. Most of our members tend to feel that NiSIG is just about the student aspect. I think Simi also used to think that way. But we're trying to promote NiSIG beyond the current boundary to ensure that we create a more advanced section of NiSIG without discriminating any profession or without trying to say that a group of people seem to have a better prospect of achieving greater heights in Germany than others. So if I try to talk more on our program, Simi, I think I'll be leaking the secret of the secretariat. So you just pardon me to stop with these two major events these two major concepts and programs that we are trying to bring on board very soon, and permit me to stop at this level. Thank you so much, Simi and Kenny.
Okay, yeah. So basically the summary is we're gonna have a summer school and then they're going to do NiSIG++. So we're waiting. Hopefully we'll see that soon. So I'm shortly going to invite Winston back. Hopefully he's still here with us. I'm gonna go through some of the questions that we had from before. Okay. If you can also maybe spotlight Winston and myself so we can go through the questions really quickly before the next segment. Okay, so first question is, can you give us some investment platforms where we can invest some type of contribution of either 50 euros monthly or more?
I would probably suggest if there is any to the question, like if it's about detailed consulting, then I would just say you can write me. I've I can also put my email in the chat section as well, and you guys just write me personally, and then we actually go that, because like I said in the beginning, everyone's concept is always quite individual. So because of information wise, I would definitely like that to be a personal thing.
Okay. So next question, how should we handle retirement and multi-locality? So for example, someone that lives here in Germany now, but would probably want to relocate or retire in Nigeria. Maybe to also add a level of complexity to that question, how would you handle retirement plus, if I decide right now I'm living in Germany, but maybe like in 1 year I can hear Canada calling, and I decide to go to Canada. So I have some retirement funds here in Germany, I move over to Canada, but then I really want to settle in Nigeria. How would you respond to that?
It's a very, very, very tricky question, and I'll just try as much as possible to keep the cards open, in the sense that there is a possibility to have a flexible way of flexible retirement planning. Two details, you can always contact me, and things like okay, if you're planning on like in the next 1 year to go to Canada, that I mean, it's like it doesn't really make any sense to have a retirement planning in Germany if you're not going to come back here and leave. So if you're going to Canada, then one can have like a short investment plan, probably for like 2 years, so to gauge yourself with the interest rate and stuff like that, and then afterwards you can then go to Canada. But the retirement plan, it has to be long term, and if one, like the question with the possibility of actually having your retirement planning and going back to Nigeria after a long time and then doing your retirement in Nigeria or anywhere, it's very possible. So there are definitely possibilities.
I'm going to add my 2 cents to what you said, which is, I mean, 100% true. My 2 cents is I did a little bit of research as well, just thinking about like my options as I'm currently a data analyst. So I'm thinking about my options as an analyst, where I could go. And the 2 things that I can share is one, I'm thinking of opening an independent pension fund. So if you're working in any country, in any good country, I mean, I don't know how it works in some other countries, you have to contribute a certain amount or percentage of your salary every month into a government pension fund. So you can also look into investing into a private pension fund. Yes, it might be you have a double contribution, so you're contributing privately and governmentally, if that makes sense. But what happens is if I have a private pension fund, I can go anywhere I want to, as long as I keep moving out my money from my salary myself. And what happens in Germany is if you worked after a couple of years, I think 6 or 7 years, you're eligible, even if you retire, like you only have those months or those years of contribution. Once you hit the retirement age, you will still be getting some, money back. But then, yeah, you have like that big fund. And then to the Nigerian question, whatever you do, please don't set up a pension fund in Nigeria if you have the opportunity to set it up anywhere else. The Naira would disappoint you. It will shame you. So try to make your pension fund in a different currency. The last question is specifically about students. So I'm not sure I really understand this question, Nazim Sulaiman, but I will ask it exactly as it is. If you want to update it, please just put it in the chat. He says, are students allowed to get involved in investment activities to perform schedules? I think this might mean like monetary contributions as well.
Yes, students are allowed. You guys have a lot of rights. That card gives you a lot of rights that you guys actually do not know. So financially, right? So the aspect of fear of not actually informing yourself about having a very good plan is not wise. So I would definitely inform myself, and I would also add to Simi's word, like to the retirement side, you actually have to be careful with what is actually in the document. So the German language is a very interesting language. So you have to really be you have to ask people who are actually in the financial field, because the financial world is completely different than the legal world. So it's still you can combine them together, but a lot of things are with numbers and also calculations. And with the documents, I will definitely make sure that you ask an expert. It's good to go online, but I stopped googling important questions on Google, because you definitely always get the interesting pictures and interesting yeah, definitions that might actually not or help that you actually probably would have regretted.
Nice. So those are all the questions we've had for now. So just as Winston said, he's going to make sure he puts his email address or his like LinkedIn URL in there. We already ate through the tea break time, but we can hand over to the next section already. I hope you guys are not tired, and I hope you guys are learning and like picking like different bits. So over to the next section, which I believe should be legal matters, which is a good, segue after your conversation about, finance and legal. So while we wait for, I imagine who is the speaker available? The speaker is not available. I can just keep talking, talk about investments and savings.
Talk about life.
Oh, talk about life. Oh my God, life is good. I don't enjoy this pandemic, but it is what it is. What I would really like now is to go for like a proper like party with jollof rice and like a live band. This is what I would want, and I hope I get this soon.
I also love food. I also love food, and I'm actually at least there's this Ghana franchise that is really making waves in Germany. It's called Matters Kitchen. So I'm sure if Nigerians can make a spin-off of that, it will really be cool, because they're in Dortmund, Bremen, and you can actually order jollof rice and stuff like that.
Nice.
So making it.
Can I order like a patty with it? So not just the jollof rice. I want like a whole plus ashwabi and everything.
Well,
included.
one can definitely put some spice into it. You know what I mean? Why not? You know, we like
I need a full experience.
We like some jara. So
yeah. Listen, I need it a lot. You might think I'm joking, but I'm really serious. Like if you find somebody on the streets just doing her own thing, it's me.
Right.
I believe the next speaker is here now.
Yes.
So I bid you guys adieu and I hand over to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you so much.
Sometimes you love too hard. Sometimes you go too far. No, I won't want you. Real things do not come easy. No.
Hello.
Been your average girl. So take time with me. Take time. Talk to me with some action.
Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me very well now? Hello, everyone.
Hi, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for still tuning on to this channel, and also, and I hope you're having a nice time. I want to introduce our next guest. He's a lawyer, a practicing lawyer in this country. His name is Barrister Iyari Imasi. He's a Nigerian, and he's going to let us know some of the things that we need to know legally, because oftentimes we get ourselves into some kind of problems, or we bust ourselves into some kind of corners. And we've seen a couple of times, with the members of NiSIG having issues here and there. But today, Mr. Barrister Iyari is going to clear all the gray areas, and he's going to let us know what actually is our right, what are we supposed to do, what is it that we're not supposed to do. And then if you have any question that is bugging your mind, for some of us who want maybe, oftentimes you bob us at the Legal Practitioners Initiative with questions, this is an opportunity for you to also, discuss and ask vital questions. So Mr. Iyari, please, your mic is on mute. So you can unmute it so that we can hear you. Oh, good. So thank you very much. Let's listen to him now.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for welcoming me to the show. I hope you guys are hearing me well. Yeah, my name is Iyari Imasi. Imasi is my surname, and I practice law here in Germany now, presently almost 12 years. And I'm glad to be with you guys to give you the assistance that you need. I don't really know where to start because law is a very wide field, and I would prefer that you guys throw your questions, and then I will try as much as possible to answer them according to the law. In case if I can't answer your questions, you shouldn't be angry, because as a lawyer, I don't have to know everything, and that is the nature of the Western world. Everybody has his own field. I can only tell you what I know and how it can be done. But in some cases, I can equally take down your questions and then give you an answer later after the program. Thanks a lot. Mr. Oko? Your mic is off.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now your mic is
So
on.
maybe it would be nice for you to just maybe start, just give us like a general overview, and then so that, then they will not, people will not ask questions. And then at the time again, then we can now throw some specific questions. So just like, what is it that it's important for us to know as students in Germany? What are those basic things that we should, like coming to this country? For instance, I'm just coming to this country. I'm a student and I don't know what to expect, so what is it that I should look up to so that I don't get into trouble, so that I don't, what are the rights that I should look up to, and then what are the duties that goes with those rights also?
Okay, these ones are just general things, because if I have to compare our home country to this country where we are, they are two different things. I would like to start with the normal way of life. If you come to a traffic light and it is red, you have to stop. You are not allowed to cross the traffic light. Even a German at midnight, when the traffic light is red and there's nobody there, he still stops and wait when it is green, and then he goes over. And then as the job opportunities as a student, of course, if you want to work in Germany, I think you guys are allowed to work a higher 240 hours in a year. And there are some other people too that can be registered at 2 hours. They work a little bit longer, depending on how much your time takes you, or how much time you invest in your studies. There are students too that want to study as quickly as possible within the time limit that is given to them, so that they can start working and start earning money. Everybody has his own individual planning and why he came into the country and what are the things that he can do. And there are equally issues about student hostels, and you have landlord problems, and you equally have what we call semester bike semester ticket. And we have people who are, of course, there at the university that can assist one in one way or the other to know really if you have problems or not. It is equally very unfortunate that many Nigerians here, they are not the original students. If I mean original students, the ones that come from and start from year 1 and end their course in year 4 or year 5, maybe doing medicine or doing law or doing informatics. Many of you guys are master students who have already have a graduation in Nigeria and just want to make masters and probably go into PhD. So the general issue is, of course, difficult now to start telling you the whole thing that happens in the country.
Okay, yeah.
So from time to time, when you are living here, you are staying in this country, in Germany. Germany is a country governed by rule of law. If you have rights, your right will be given to you. Whether you are black, you are white, yellow, it does not matter. And if you go to a doctor, whether you did not take shower or you are not hygienic, the doctor must treat you whether he like it or not. So, and we have equally risks in every profession that one is practicing in this country. A police officer can be beaten, can be attacked in this country, but he's fully allowed to chain you, and they're not allowed to come to anybody's house without no warrant of arrest or search warrant. So Germany is a country with rules and laws. Whether your father is Angela Merkel or your mother is Angela Merkel or your father is Bundespresident, president, if you are going to school here, you don't perform, they will fail you. And nobody is going to come and ask, why did you fail my son? It's a land, it's a country of excellence. It is only people who are exceeding that have the right to have a good career here. The background of a human being, whether rich or poor, does not count here. Everybody has the same starting chance.
Now the questions are coming. Sorry to interrupt you. The questions are already coming.
Okay.
So I think maybe I'll take like some of the questions together. The first one is about working in Germany. Because due to the coronavirus, most of the courses are now on the internet, right? So that is online. So am I still bound? Because normally I'm allowed to work full time during the holiday and 20 hours during the study hours. Then now that we are online, if I exceed the 20 hours, is it a breach or not? And then if it is a breach, what happens to me? Or what if I'm trying to help, because there is pandemic, I'm just trying to, trying to help. That's the first question. And then the second question is, what happens if I decide to pursue residency while my studies are still going on? Then I think I'll take these two, then later I come back to the other ones.
Yeah, so in the first question, if you are working online because of the corona pandemic, now you are at home and you are working, it is not really a problem, because in the first place, when you go and renew your visa, they don't ask you about the job that you do here. What they want to know about, as far as I know, is they ask you to present your we call it shine. The shines are mostly for people who are moving from year to year, the academic performance. And then if you have enough block contour, or you have somebody who signed for you, the so-called perfections clearance. So if you are doing a job from outside, not because it's pandemic, you are at home, I don't think it is really anybody's problem. They don't really know how many hours you are doing there. Because the Foreign Office, maybe somebody can quote me wrong, I don't think that the Foreign Office asks students to present their loan operation, their pay slip, where they are working from, where they are doing their 240 hours in a year. So that 240 hours is only done so that students should face their studies properly, so that they don't divert away from studies and then they start going into business, or probably come only here to work. So now during the pandemic time, we all know that people are at home, and many people are doing shorter hours. Some are doing larger hours. So if you do more hours, the most important thing is that your employer pays you, and not that. I don't think the Foreign Office will start asking you to present your loan operation, your pay slip, so that they know how many hours you did during the pandemic. So, and the other guy too that is asking of the resident permit, I think I read he's talking about permanent resident permit. If he wants to pursue the resident permit, students don't get permanent resident permit. You can only get a permanent resident permit when you finish your course and you then get a job in that particular course, or a similar course to the course that you studied, and you are given a contract of maybe less than a year, minimum of 1 year. Some people get 2 years contract. In such cases, you can change your visa from paragraph 16 to another working, another resident permit, which is better than the paragraph 16 before. And we have cases of people who do normal studies here, like medicine, informatic engineer, civil engineering, and some other things. When they finish their courses here and they get job, mostly they get jobs very quickly. They can apply for a German passport, and they are given German passport immediately you finish. So the master situation is different from a normal student from Nigeria who has been here, first of all, learn the language and start studying with the normal German language, and then graduate later as a doctor, or as an engineer, or as a computer scientist, or some other engineering courses. Yeah, Mr. Oko.
So now because you were trying to ask for clarification, the other question, the one you're talking about, was the guy is talking about permanent residency, which I think you have addressed now after graduation. Now the first question was, for instance, if I decide to pursue residency while my studies are still going on, maybe are there other routes to residency apart from going strictly with school, maybe like getting married, or maybe
so okay,
yeah, so that's what the question that he's asking.
Okay, so if it's that one, of course, if you are here as a student, and which many of you are, and you find a German woman or a woman with a resident permit, not a student resident permit. Of course, if you are going to permanent resident permit, you should be able to find a woman that has maybe a German permanent resident permit, or a man who has a German passport or who has a permanent resident permit that applies equally to a woman. And you can get married. You can go and marry in Denmark as quickly as possible. The marriage in Denmark is faster than the marriage in Germany, because if you want to marry in Germany here, first of all, they start demanding for confirmation of your documents in Nigeria, that will first of all be sent through the Standesamt here, the Marriage Institute. They will take those documents, for instance, birth certificate, bachelor certificate. If the person was married before in Nigeria, I have to present a divorce certificate, and then they will then ask for the schools that you attended. They will ask for people you want them to visit, maybe father, mother, uncle, fellow students of those days, or fellow high school people, students, and then they want to go to your primary school and secondary school. They want to confirm your identity and all kinds of things. Sometimes they ask for pictures and these things, and then you have to pay, maybe if you're around Lagos, you can pay 300 euro for the confirmation. But if somebody is coming from the east, from Enugu, or maybe from the